Quinn here with SEO Works, and in this video we're going to talk about on-page SEO. Now, if you haven't had a chance to check out our previous video on what is SEO, we encourage you to take a look at that video before taking a dive with us here. As I mentioned in that video, there are three major components to SEO: on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO. In this video, we're going to cover parts of on-page SEO. In subsequent videos, we'll get into off-page SEO, technical SEO, and then individual components of each of these areas of SEO. Now, if you're just looking for someone to come in and SEO your site up today to start getting rankings and organic presence, you do not have to watch the rest of this video. You can go ahead and click here for a free, no strings attached SEO analysis that will certainly give you ample opportunities to start working on today. For the rest of you that are looking to learn, you're in the right place. Here's what you can expect in the next couple of minutes in this video. Number one, we're going to go over what is on-page SEO. Number two, can you do it? And what are some things that you can do right now to impact your on-page SEO? Number three, what are some of the tools that you can use to help you with your on-page SEO? And number four, what are some items that ought to just be left up to the SEO experts? So what is on-page SEO? On-page SEO refers specifically to the optimizations that are taking place on any given page on your site. Typically, this means that we are targeting keywords in relevant places on a given page. When we say targeting, we mean using the keyword strategically in those specific areas. For example, title tags, meta descriptions, H1s or main headers, as well as to use the keyword in meaningful ways throughout the page so as to comprehensively provide information about it. With that said, it is imperative for on-page SEO to have a primary keyword and then thematically or semantically related keywords targeted to that page. Now, many of these items are often edited directly in the raw code. Fortunately, there are many CMS or content management systems out there that help make this easier with user-friendly things like plugins. Before we get any further, it's important to know what is a title tag, a meta description, and an H1, and where to find them. A title tag can be found directly at the top of a tab inside any given browser. You can also see title tags and meta descriptions right on a SERP or a search engine results page. For both Apple and Windows users, you can also right-click and inspect any given page to see the raw code and do a control find function to find title tags, meta descriptions, and H1 tag. Professional SEOs, or search engine optimizers, can crawl entire sites and get lists of all title tags, meta descriptions, H1s, keyword usage, as well as word count for all the pages on a given site, allowing them to make recommendations at scale. This helps identify whether or not there are keywords in these specific areas, whether or not there are multiple pages targeting the same keyword, and also what pages aren't targeting keywords at all. Ultimately, this means that we want to get a good understanding of all the possible keywords out there that might be relevant to our industry, our products, or our services, so that we can more appropriately group them semantically or thematically so that we target these groups of keywords on specific pages. A specialist, or possibly somebody just starting out, might want to start with something like an opportunity analysis, where extensive keyword research is done based off of your existing content, the content of competitors, and a gap analysis to help identify all these possible keywords. This is a hefty lift, and we'll get into the weeds on opportunity analysis and keyword research in subsequent videos. Now, as I just mentioned intent, on-page SEO is concerned with ensuring that our content is authentic, authoritative, and comprehensive. Google uses an acronym that we'll address in other areas of SEO as well, called EAT or EAT, standing for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The content that we produce needs to target these areas. In short, we want users to find everything that they might be looking for around the intent or the context of a query that they're inputting into Google. We want both users and Google to feel confident that we're providing the best source of information around the given topic. And then ultimately, we want users to take the appropriate next step, whether down the funnel or a final conversion. Let's take a look at 3 keyword examples to illustrate the concept. Keyword 1, do bug zappers really work? This is likely a top-of-funnel intended keyword for a bug zapper selling business. The keyword, do bug zappers really work, is not a purchase intent keyword, which makes it rather top of funnel. However, a bug zapper company would be interested in targeting this and semantically related keywords in order to be found in this and other stages of their sales funnel. Doing this ensures that they are showing authoritativeness in their space. And to target this keyword appropriately, this content needs to be conclusive, comprehensive, and often long form. Many top of funnel keywords tend to be long tail or very specific with lower volume. The more long tail keywords that a company can go after and rank for, the more presence they have organically. Example 2, best bug zappers. This keyword would be considered more of a middle of funnel keyword. Often, middle of funnel keywords are targeted by non-brand related sites or consumer sites because they have the ability to talk about multiple brands. However, if the bug zapper company can find a way to accurately and honestly represent themselves and other bug zappers, this could be a great way for them to target this middle of funnel keyword. To target this keyword appropriately, this page is going to want to show pros and cons, prices, and the specs of all the different bug zappers out there to appropriately and accurately represent information that is targeting the intent of that keyword. And finally, example 3, Joe Blow's Bug Zapper or the Bug Zapper 3500. These bottom of funnel keywords are typically brand related, not always, but they are assuredly always the money keywords. We want to be very sure when we target these keywords that we are comprehensive in our content and answering everything that there might be about that keyword, so that users aren't going elsewhere to find that information. So as you can see pretty quickly, it is imperative that we are proactive about understanding our keywords, grouping them thematically or semantically, and understanding the intent behind the keywords so that we can appropriately organize our site in a way that targets these groups. Now, this isn't everything about on-page SEO. In fact, it's not even close. However, these concepts are underlying to everything that we do on on-page SEO. Which leads us to the next point. What can we do right now to impact our on-page SEO? Now, while I briefly mentioned targeting keywords through title tags, meta descriptions, H1s, and throughout meaningful ways on the page, the first thing that you could possibly do is do some basic keyword research. Go out and identify anywhere between 10 and 1,000 keywords that are relevant to your industry, product, and services. You can do this by looking at competitors and simply just doing a Google search. Once you do a Google search, you can scroll to the bottom and look at other searches related to yours. These are often semantically related keywords that you can use to group and then map to an existing URL. Doing this will give you other relevant topics to talk about in copy blocks on that given page. Next, get a list of all your existing URLs if you have an existing site. Start mapping these groups to these existing URLs. Note that if there are multiple pages targeting the same group of keywords, this likely could mean that you need to combine and condense content through a series of different strategies, including possibly 301 or 302 redirecting one of the URLs, or possibly simply 410ing or removing the content of one of the URLs. All with the intent of ensuring that you do not cannibalize or duplicate your content so that you and Google know which page is a priority for you to rank. Along these same lines, any group that is not mapped to an existing URL is a new opportunity for you to target with new pages. Often this can be a robust step, but if done right, can provide strategic direction to content and a content calendar well into a year. Now, ensure that the pages that do have keyword groups mapped to them are targeting those keywords well in the areas that we've specified before. Which brings us to point number 3, quick tools that will help you both identify opportunities and implement. Now, an SEO's tool belt is often revealing to their ability and their skills as an SEO. For on-page SEO, you really want to invest some time and possibly some funds into the following: SEMrush or SEMrush, Ahrefs, Google Search Console, Google Keyword Planner inside Google Ads, Surfer, Moz, Google Trends, Answer the Public, and MarketMuse. Now, this isn't even close to all the on-page SEO tools out there, but certainly these tools will help you get started. Now, there are 2 tools that I'll suggest for every area of SEO that any person trying to attempt SEO on their own needs to become familiar with and eventually master, and they are Screaming Frog and Google Analytics. Honestly, there's so much out there, and we can't even get into all the plugins that you can use on Google Chrome and other browsers to help you with this. Which ultimately leads us to the final point. What should be left up to the SEO experts? There's so much to on-page SEO, and we'll get into the weeds on many of those components in subsequent videos. For example, image alt text, schema implementation, scaling out your research and content creation, funnel development, conversion rate optimization or CRO, CTAs, and much more. Ultimately, the items that we've talked about in this video so far are tedious and time-consuming and can leave so much room for things to go wrong, let alone the additional technical aspects I just mentioned. Now, the purpose of mentioning this isn't to scare you, but to help you understand that things can go wrong and shed some light on why many people hire experts to do this. Ultimately, we believe that the time, money, and frustration that you'll save far outweighs the competitive month-to-month no contract premiums that we offer at SEO Works. So what do you do now? That's the beauty of it. You can start tinkering on your own with the items that we mentioned in this video and the resources that are found across our site and in subsequent videos. We want you to feel that the information that we're providing you is valuable and ultimately empowers you to go out and do. But if you're caught at a crossroads and you don't know where to start, as I mentioned before, we offer a completely free, no strings attached SEO analysis that will give you ample opportunities to start working on today. Now, we hope you go down the thought process that over 500 small and large businesses have already made and decide that it is well worth it to hire out a team of experts. There you have it. As promised, we went into a little bit more depth on page SEO. Watch out for coming videos where we'll get into the weeds on components of on-page SEO as well as the other pillars of SEO. We wish you luck, and as always, we encourage you to like and subscribe so that you can stay up on the latest on all things SEO. Because let's be honest, SEO works.